My name is Waine. I was born and raised in southwestern Pennsylvania. I'm currently retired as of 2018. Prior to that, I worked in maximum security prisons in Pennsylvania, and prior to that, I did 2 tours over in Iraq. Close friend of mine that my boys had trained my boys in wrestling. His wife had posted online that Pete's treatment methods had a lot of success with Lyme symptoms that he was dealing with. And so I decided, since I'd been dealing with the same types of symptoms for around a decade, that I was going to look into it. Since I got back from my second tour overseas in 2009, I've been dealing with chronic fatigue, some unexplained skin issues, some migraine headaches, fibromyalgia diagnoses, and I had a pacemaker put in 2018 when I was about 34 years old. So those symptoms led me to look for other treatment options because we weren't really getting anything. We traveled from the VA hospitals locally to the Cleveland Clinic to Presby in Pittsburgh, WVU hospitals. We'd made some rounds and weren't getting many answers or effective treatments. Gulf War syndrome is a diagnosis that's kind of been thrown around a lot for a lot of guys that were deployed. And all that is a set of symptoms that usually includes fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, some unexplained cardiac issues, and some they call it unexplained skin issues. And they will show up a lot of times on outer extremities without explanation. And some of them stick around for years. Some of them I've had on my being since 2017 and that are still semi-open. As things were progressing, the longer I dealt with the symptoms, the more that certain limitations were coming on. I was having some cramping in my forearm, dexterity issues, fine motor skill problems, not to mention the cosmetic issues. And then in an atmosphere like a prison setting, there's a lot of risk of infection. So when I'm walking around with open sores and things on myself, and I'm exposed to the many diseases that are inside the walls. So it was important to get those healed up. We were doing 2 sessions a week, probably about 5 or 6 weeks. And then we're down to 1 session a week now. After the second session, probably, I told my wife something was different. Like I started feeling different. And then we started shining it also on my head, which I've had a lot of issues with also. And it's helped a lot with some brain fog stuff. It's helped with clarity of thought. I have had improved sleep, motor function, and I haven't had a lot of the issues that I was having in fingertips and dexterity issues, like I was talking about, fine motor skills, tying shoes, tying kids' shoes, stuff like that. This one here, the first photos on my phone, I think are in 2017. So it's been an open wound on and off since that point in time. Some of these have been there for over a year, and some of those ones are new. It seems to be effective. Well, at first I didn't know what was going on. When I heard from the friend's wife about the situation, I've been looking at anything and that other people have found effective, especially people that I trust. And so I made the appointment. And once I come in, and like I said, the first appointment, I was kind of like, what's going on here? And then I felt something. I told my wife I felt something. There was something going on. And then the second appointment that week, when I left there, I called her on the way home and I was like, hey, I don't know what this is. I still call it the voodoo stuff because I have no idea. Like, I get the concept of it, but medically, I have a medical background. My wife has a medical background. She's a NICU nurse. I'm an Iraq War medic. And so we both get the medicine part of things. And this just wasn't really making sense at that point in time. The more you get into frequencies and stuff, I guess I've got it a little more. But yeah, I was definitely skeptical originally. When they put the pacemaker in and retired me in 2018, I kind of built a little lab in my basement and started on the Gulf War thing. Like, I wasn't planning on retiring. So I'd done a lot of work to get to that point. And then when they did that, I kind of dove into the Gulf War syndrome thing. Learned a lot about skin, which, as a medic in Iraq, you're focused on trauma, airway, that kind of stuff. You're not worried about skin issues or any systemic or, I can't think of fibromyalgia, Crohn's disease, autoimmune. That's what I was looking for. You don't really focus on any of that stuff. But the longer I got into it in the basement and stuff, and the more I found out about it, there's a lot of questions that we don't have answers to in medicine that we might be finding here. I know that it's frustrating whenever you don't have answers that, doctors are saying there's nothing wrong, or that, you're getting the same tests run on you over and over again, and that it's been effective for me from what I've seen, and I would definitely recommend giving it a chance. But my wife started also. I encouraged her whenever she was having not only the physical issues, but some of the mental health issues. Like I said, the first time that we ran the light over my head, I kind of noticed that, again, don't know what was going on, but something was going on, and it was an improvement. So I made that recommendation to her, and she noticed similar things after. Since returning home in 2009, we've tried everything for skin issues, from topical and oral steroids and antibiotics, injections, wraps. This was the first time that we went about the light and heat therapy, and it seems to have been extremely effective. And the same thing goes for mental health wise. We've had a lot of, I've had a pharmacy sent from the VA over 10 years and haven't really found anything that allowed me to still be me and feel a little bit of relief. And this seems to do that.